day in the state of Maharashtra politics. We kickstart this bulletin with some breaking inputs coming in on Uddhav Thackeray. All right, the much-awaited address by Uddhav Thackeray has just concluded. Remember, this is the first time the Chief Minister of Maharashtra broke his silence over the massive political storm that has been brewing in the state for the past couple of days. The biggest takeaway of this address was that Uddhav will not resign as the rumors had it. But Uddhav Thackeray has said that I'm ready to resign if the rebels say this to my face, if the rebels are able to prove the numbers, and if the rebel MLAs take his resignation letter to the governor. So Uddhav Thackeray there saying and lamenting the betrayal by his own party members. He said, I do not want to distrust my Shivseniks, but those who think that I'm incapable to lead should come forward and take my resignation letter to the governor. For more on this, I'm joined by Eknath on the broadcast. Eknath, a lot is happening in the state of Maharashtra, and that much-awaited address has just concluded. The biggest takeaway of Uddhav's address is that he is not going to quit. However, in as many words, he said that he is ready to quit if the rebel MLAs tell him to do so on his face, because there is an element of betrayal, there is an element of his own men going against him. This was the clear message from Uddhav Thackeray's address.
So clearly, Archana, in an address in typical Uddhav Thackeray style, which lasted for around 20 to 25 minutes, it was a very emotional appeal that CM Uddhav Thackeray made to the people of Maharashtra. It was an address to people of Maharashtra in quintessential Uddhav Thackeray style. It was replete with stories, anecdotes, so on and so forth. And he said that he felt very touched at the cooperation that the people of Maharashtra has given and at the confidence that they have bestowed upon him. In surveys after survey, he was called the best chief minister. There is some action behind as I speak. I am at Yashwantrao Chauhan Center, and this is where the NCP MLAs and NCP leaders are there, and the buzz is that NCP Chief Sharad Pawar could speak to the media. However, we are not confirming it as yet. There was some buzz, and I will get back to what I was telling you from the address. So as CM Uddhav Thackeray said that he felt betrayed, or he felt hurt at his own ilk targeting him and saying that he betrayed Hindutva, he was incommunicado, he was not accessible to the MLAs. He said that he would have accepted in his stride if people, MLA leaders from the Congress or NCP had said this. But albeit the leaders of Congress and NCP, Archana, he mentioned Kamal Nath, he mentioned NCP Chief Sharad Pawar, and there is some movement there. I believe that Sharad Pawar has left this location, and there is some action that we are spotting currently. As you can see, the cavalcade of NCP leader is moving out, and there is more action expected. You can see more leaders coming out. You can see Anand Paranspe, who's the NCP leader. He's coming out, and other leaders are also coming out. One can see the social media in charge of NCP, she's coming out. So I think the NCP meeting is over, and one can see a lot of movement there. So there are many ministers from the NCP. NCP Chief Jayant Patil is also here, Sharad Pawar is here. So there is a lot of VIP movement that is happening. I believe that all these leaders and MLAs were waiting for the CM's address to get over. Coming back to the CM's address, so he said that if one of the Congress or NCP leaders would have asked him, called him incompetent and asked him to step down, he wouldn't have felt bad. He would have stepped down immediately. But instead, this whole thing of MLAs going to Surat or MLA going to Assam and then asking and not showing faith in him is something that has hurt him immensely. He stopped short of saying that he is resigning, but he has offered to resign if any of his MLA, rebel MLA, expresses or comes in front of him and says that he doesn't have faith in his leadership anymore. He has made it clear in that many words.
Right.
And as an optic, Uddhav Thackeray has made it clear that he's moving away from his official residence, Varsha, and he is going to move to Matoshri, which is his personal residence.
All right, Ketan, please stay on with us. We're getting some breaking inputs on the broadcast. All right, Shivsena rebel leader Eknath Shinde has sought time from Maharashtra governor to show strength of MLAs with the governor via video conference. And another important update is that he is going to address the media at about 7 p.m. Remember, Eknath Shinde is another big character in this story who's triggered this political storm in the state of Maharashtra. His rebellion has led the Maharashtra government to the brink of a collapse. But we just heard Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, who's cleared the air and said that he's ready to quit if rebel MLAs come to him directly and ask him to resign. And the big update is that Eknath Shinde has sought time from Maharashtra governor to prove the numbers to show to display a show of strength as far as MLAs are concerned. All right, NCP's Mahesh Tapase is speaking to the media at the moment. Let's listen in. All right, Mr. Mahesh Tapase is on the broadcast with us. Tapase ji, thank you so much for speaking to Mirror Now. What sense do you pick up the developments that are unfolding? Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, in a very emotional speech, has said that he is ready to quit if the rebel MLAs tell him directly. He also said that he was a reluctant chief minister. He did not want to be in power in the first place, but it was Mr. Sharad Pawar who trusted him with the responsibility and asked him to take over. What is going on in the government? How are the allies planning their next strategy?
Well, to tell you very briefly, the feeler that we have been getting, that most of the MLAs who are in Guwahati, they want to come back to the party fold. They want to be with Mr. Uddhav Thackeray. They want to be part of the MLA government. And most of them have been persuaded in a very different manner. And that's why the feelers that have been passed on to Honorable Chief Minister through his party men, through whatever source of communication that is open, available to the MLAs, he has made a very direct and a very emotional appeal that look, I'm not interested in continuing as the Chief Minister. Anybody of you wants to continue as the Chief Minister is free to come and take charge, provided you tell me on face. Now, whatever is happening, none of the MLAs, none of the so-called number, whatever number is being projected by Mr. Shinde, he is only claiming that Shivsena legislators want to go with the BJP, they are with the Balasaheb Thackeray and Hindutva. So none of the MLAs themselves have come on air and said that we want to replace Uddhav Thackeray ji. Secondly, he said, if you want that I should be replaced as a party president, he's ready to step down. What more can a leader say in this case?
Right. Mr. Tapase, another...
It was very direct and very emotional, and I am very much sure that all the legislators who are there, who are in Assam and Guwahati, who are in Guwahati of Assam, will come back to the party fold, and MBA government will continue functioning, and this game plan of BJP, which they have done, will bear no fruit for them.
Right. Mr. Tapase, what can you tell us about Mr. Sharad Pawar's meeting with the Chief Minister?
As a party leader, Mr. Pawar Sahab has expressed his confidence, his support, extended his support to Honorable Chief Minister Mr. Uddhav Thackeray ji. We are with the MBA government.
Right. All right. Thank you so much, Mahesh Tapase, for making time and speaking to Mirror Now. Remember, Sharad Pawar is going to speak to Uddhav Thackeray on these developments. A lot is happening in the Maharashtra government from Mumbai.